Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss about Shailputri, the first day of Durga Puja. It also represents Prithvi Bhuta and Muladhar Chakra. Reincarnation is a concept which has been designed in such a way that whenever the decline in dharma and rise in righteousness, divinity will take birth in Bharat, Arakhand Bharat, to establish the dharma. And it is also to deliver piousness and annihilate the wickedness as well as to re-establish dharma. And that is what is written in this particular thing. Now, reincarnation is more important. Everyone, including me, have taken many births to come to this stage of Divyank for the first time in the history of mankind as the divine of nature, only 2015. It has never been revealed in the history of mankind till today. And that's the reality. And it is again and again human beings are born, take birth, die, and then retake birth. During the process, we educate ourselves, learn, and move on to higher and higher level. And when we come to the next stage, we start from there only. Nothing is lost in the process of reincarnation. That's the message. Now, Goddess Durga was created with 18 arms to re-establish Dharma in the universe when demon forces are trying to create a problem. And that's it. But she represents periodic table as such. That was I told you in Durga's case. And you can see that there are 7 periods and 18 groups which represent Goddess Durga or Adi Prashakti by and large. Then the question of after dissolving everything in the universe and in the heaven, she decided to dissolve the energetic body of Goddess Durga to take birth in the human form for further evolution. And this is what I understand from she had to dissolve. Let's not go into details in a hypothetical thing which cannot be proven. Let's leave it at that. But she was born again for spiritual science, and then she was born as Vaishnavi in Kanyakumari, their lowest center in Akhand Bharat. And this is a picture of Kanyakumari bottom where all the 3 seas meet: Indian Ocean, Arabian Sea, and Bengal Bay. And from there she has moved on to Trikuta mountain where she is there meditating to become higher form. What is form is, let me tell you. And today in Trikuta mountains represent Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh or Shiva. All the three things are the male aspects. And that is a trinity, and that is what is Devyan. 22 by 21 represent Lord Brahma, 10 is Lord Vishnu's Dasavatar, and Panchbhuta of Shiva, 3 put together become complete. Then these things represent Adi Prashakti's concept equivalent to Dattatreya. Then Mata Vaishno Devi represents Mahasaraswati, the goddess of knowledge, Mahalakshmi, the goddess of wealth, and Mahakali, the goddess of 3, which are consorts of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. And in other words, Durga, Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali together are Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh in the Tattriya. They represent the universal consciousness which I see in the form of Devyank for the first time in the history of mankind from 2015. It has taken me many janmas, but it was worth coming to that stage because finally we need a divine mathematics, resolve all the problems of education throughout the world, from school, college, university to all the publication, research, everything. And I'm just trying to rectify all the defects which are there in our education system, primarily with the mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology and medical sciences. Other subjects I'm not at all concerned. And this is the Mata Vaishno Devi statue is with Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh or Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, the 3 pindis you can see. Underneath this 5.5 feet statue which I had the privilege to see. And this is where this is both Durga and Dattatreya are Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Kali. They are all the representation of universal consciousness, first stage of creation, 10th stage of development and last stage of maturation. That is the divine mathematics with which the entire universe, including perfect human being, right from the mineral to plant to animal to this level, all are designed perfectly. And I am talking about the perfect core values. I am not talking of the imperfect defective models. Then Mata Vaishno Devi is the incarnation of goddess, and she has 8 arms which represent Agni Bhuta, that is the fire element which I talked about it, and it represents oxygen with 8 protons and 8 electrons. Let us accept that part from periodic table itself. Now we are coming to the subject for the day from today. There are 10 Mahavidyas which we all know very well. This picture is well described, as shown in all the books and described. I am not going to go to the 10 forms as such, but I am going to give my own version or understanding of Dasa Mahavidyas, and today is the first Mahavidya as the Shailputri. Let's start from there and then move on to the 10 stages so that we know each one is a level of consciousness within the human body. And my point is, unless and you experience all the 10 Mahavidyas within yourself, like 10 stages of Dasavatar or Vishnu or Mahavidya, all are identical. There is no difference. Even the sun has got 10 levels, and spiral galaxy has 10 suns. Everything is same, and including in goddess Gayatri. And we will see as we move on to see how precise divine mathematics is in these pictures itself. Now, why 10 Mahavidyas is the question which I have raised. First, those things, same picture, why 10? Why not 9? Why not 11? Then, as I told you very clearly, Goddess Durga dissolved the energy body in the universe and then took birth as Vaishnavi in Kanyakumari, has come to Trikuta mountain, and she is meditating there to become goddess Gayatri. That is what picture is. She has got 8 electrons, 8 protons. She is the Agni element, oxygen. And without oxygen, there is no fire element at all. That is the most important part in transmission for everybody. Now, less oxygen, you become water and ice. If more, you become Vayu and energy. So, from there, going to the 10th stage, is she is trying to go to that stage, not to the 18 or more than that. Let's accept that. But what is in Gayatri's, Gayatri Devi represents? If you see this particular picture of goddess Gayatri which is there, there is the lotus flower on which she is sitting. Lotus flower represents purity and Lord Brahma by and large. Lord Brahma is always associated with lotus flower. So let's accept. Then she see a single body with 10 arms. When you say 10 arms, she represents Shakti of 10 powers. That means there are 10 protons, 10 electrons. But she represents neon 21, not neon 20 or neon 22. But there 21 means there are neutrons 11. So when 10 protons, 11 neutrons and 10 electrons put together are 31 and divided by 3 is equal to 0.34419 is the development which I am talking about. And once that is understood, you will understand what is the divine message in these pictures, why these murtis or the images have taught me divine mathematics. They are not imagination, they are greatest wisdom. They are the only one can rectify all the defects of the education throughout the world. Science without symbol, logos, abbreviation is not at all possible. And these are the symbols which have taught me divine mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, everything much more perfectly than any of the books or research anywhere in the world. Now come to the question of Shailputri, the first day of Mata Vaishno Devi's evolution now. She represents first Mahavidya, or let's clear. First knowledge comes from Shailputri, and she represents Muladhar Chakra, or the solid element, which is equal to 38.1966% of Divyang. This is as simple as that. Solid element, which is Muladhar Chakra, Bhumi element, the Prithvi, and matter is 38 1. And the first knowledge we have to realize that, and that is what Rigved is all about. Atoms, elements, molecules, compounds, all about the mineral kingdom is what is there in Rigved, and that exactly is what Shailputri is talking about. And Shailputri gets its name from because she is the daughter of Himalayas. When you think of Himalayas daughter, you only know come to very clear there is ice, and ice is a solid element of water. That's what I meant. That Himalaya, the snow, by and large is a solid matter and is earth matter. It's 38.196. That is the concept in Devyang. It starts from there only. She is the Bhumi element with Muladhara Chakra. She is going to teach you A to Z of mineral kingdom completely. And that's what I said. Whether you have hydrogen, you have carbon, you have oxygen, you have nitrogen, you have sodium, you have chloride, you have potassium, magnesium. There are and 10 elements or atoms which are very important for the physical body, and they all center around Divyank alone. And that is, as far as Shailputri is concerned, solid element, daughter of Himalayas, again ice and move. Once we understand that, that is first stage to understand how yourselves to understand mineral kingdom very, very clearly. Then comes to the question of let's understand Muladhara Chakra, why it's important as the first step in the human body. And I do know Muladhara Chakra is a foundation center which is in the pelvic region, and this is also represents 7 layers of earth element. And this is first picture, on there are 3 pictures here. First is from Sat Chakra Nirupana, which has got Lam in the center and 4 letters, 4 petals. Same thing made by Shibhushan Sharma is the second one, and third is the medical science of ganglion empire, which is the end of 2 peripheral chains right in the body. And once that you are in ganglion empire or coccygeal ganglion, you have the autonomic nervous system complete. You understand concept very clearly. That is what it is all about. Once you understand Muladhara very clearly, you understand Shailputri very clearly, you understand mineral kingdom very clearly. Once you understand, only then you will be able to understand, appreciate Rigved completely. And Rigved, the most important thing is again Agni. That is oxygen, that is Durga, and that is also Mata Vaishno Devi with 8 arms. Once that is understood, I think everything is very, very clear. We are moving in a very scientific way. Now come to the question of chakras. Chakras which go around the clockwise for energy and anti-clockwise reducing energy. That is one part. In the center there are 10.344 chakras, and totally there are 108 chakras in the human body. Once they are understood, their association with endocrine gland, association with autonomic nervous system, association with the nervous system, association with all the parts of the body, you will come to only one conclusion: everything centers around Devyank alone. Once you understand that, you move on to the next stage much better. That is what chakras are all about. Now they come to the Muladhara Chakra. As far as Sat Chakra Nirupana is concerned, is the ancient Indian book which talks about chakras. And this particular thing, as I'm tracking very clear, you can see Lam sound, and that is a phonetic sound or Bij mantra, and that is also very closely with Shailputri or Shalom. Shalom, Shailputri, Lam is all the phonetic sound, is all derived from that particular thing. And then there is the inverted triangle, and also Kundalini is 22/7, that is pi. Then it is in the central pi with the Shivling, which I have already explained, and this elephant with 7 tusks. This also shares the earth element, which has got 7 layers, and the presiding deity is Bala, that means Brahma again. I think once this picture of Sat Chakra Nirupana is understood very clearly, you will find all the characteristics of Muladhara so specific, much better than ever explained. Once you understand that, you will realize that Muladhara is with the earth element. It is a solid element, calm and quiet, and also to have 7 levels of the earth itself. So these pictures are not just imagination, they are wisdom of the highest, and this was done thousands and thousand years ago. And I'm just explaining that including Shivling as a 22/7 is the form center of sun right up to the pole star. Once that is done, I think you know where pi comes, and 22/7 is equal to 3.142857 only, not the way the modern science talks about it. That is the clarity which I understood by watching this particular picture, which is there in Satchakran, in the Serpentine, and many other books. But let's see the beauty. Let's not go into detail what you have explained. And I'm explaining with my own experience. Then this is Muladhar Chakra, which I made. This is Akhand Sutra. And you can see the descent of Shakti right there, you triangle coming down. And then you can square with the 4 petals. Is again that earth is made of 4 petals, not a circle as such. I have already explained. And Kundalini is 22 by central. And then you have a central 3 semi-length 1 plus lane represent Kundalini awakening. And I make one thing very clear, that Kundalini as such when sleeping Muladhara Chakra is in 22/21 only, which is 1/3 of as such. But when it's awakened, slowly when it starts rising, the dimension increases, finally come to 22/7, 3 times that. And that is what is Shivling all about. And once that is understood, you know from the center of the sun to the pole star, the whole thing is, the whole universe is, width is 7 and height is 22. And that is pi, and that was revealed again beautifully by Maharishi Yajnavalkya in his work 5000 years ago, and I make it as 3.142857 only is a perfect number. Every other number is defective. That's it. So once that is done, I think it's very clear. Satchakra Nirupana, then Akhand Sutra, both are together. Then the divine mathematics in this form shows how we move on from zero level of consciousness to higher. Sleeping is 22/21, rising is 22/7. Let's be very clear on that. And this particular picture, you can see the 7 layers of Mother Earth at the bottom part: Atal, Vital, Sutal, Tatal, Rasatal, Mahatal and Patal. That is from earth element right up to Patal is the inner consciousness, which even modern science has realized and given that name. But this is also, people can realize that lower part of the body, right from soul up to Muladhara Chakra, is represented inside, you can see. And that is where Muladhara is inside and this is outside. Once both are understood very clearly, do you understand how divine mathematics, that experience has to be there. Within that experience only you can move on to understand Shailputri very clearly. So Shailputri had literally come to that particular stage, at the top of the head, to that stage. How? Through the 10 stages within the body, 10 stages outside the body, you are going to see the reflection both. It happens identical within the body from Muladhara to Akhand Chakra, then from Muladhara to Akhand Chakra in the solar system. Same thing as far as spiral galaxy is concerned. But when you go beyond that, that's where you Sahasrara Chakra comes right at the pole star. And pole star should have literally 1024 petals, not 1000 alone. To reach that level, you've got to go to very high level of consciousness. Now comes to Muladhara again. Now you see that Va, Sa, Sa, Sa. These are letters that particularly center around 3 Sas. That is, phonetic songs, Swar, Sat, Swara, start with Sa only. Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Da, Ni, Sa. So this is the first Sa, which is right at Muladhara Chakra and is 3 times repeated. And the phonetic sound is La. And that is a Hindolam music, or what do you call month. Anyway, let's see how mal counts in Sanskrit are North India and Hindolam in South India, centers on Lam only. That is the sound, and that is with, based on that I have made the music also of Divyank Dhwani centers around from LOM to the highest, to sacral plexus to sympathetic avoidance and to cranial parasympathetic, and that is the important part. You will start that right in the beginning. So this way the sound LAM is very very important. That is a sound starting for a, l, m. I think once that is realized, then you move on to higher level in phonetic sound itself. Now the ancient picture you have seen, that I have shown the sword picture in that part. Then this is the same correlation with human anatomy. The terminal sympathetic chain, both left parietal and right parietal, Ida and Pingala unite at the bottom, and that's what picture you can see, and that is the Muladhar Chakra, and that has got 4 petals. You can see 2 petals going up and 2 petals going to the 2 legs, and that is very clear. Same coccyx has also got 4 fuse bone as 1. Once this you can see the correlation completely within the body, another thing, then you know Kundalini has to go. That exactly where Durga starts his evolution once again, like Mahavidya, the first one, Shailputri, or Muladhara as such to go on higher. Then this is a picture which is there from Satchakra Nirupana. You can see only goddess with one head. That means you have only Durga has got one head at that particular stage, and that is a picture. And I think once that is understood, you can move on to stage how we are going to evolve step by step to great. In this picture, you can even see Ganesha, who is the son of goddess Durga, you can call it, or you call it Parvati, whichever. Shiva, Parvati, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, all are represented in the Muladhara itself. But it is only one head, not more than that. Then, as I told you, the concentration of Muladhara Chakra is mirth element, it's solid element, and mirth has got 38.196% solid matter only. Remaining water of 61.8034 you are going to see tomorrow in Swadhisthana Chakra. And within that, earth is completely known. Solid is Muladhara and water is Swadhisthana, which we are going to discuss tomorrow as second stage of Brahmacharni. Again, Brahmacharni is a sexual reproduction or sacred reference. This is the Muladhara Chakra. Once that is understood, I think we can move on very well to the next stage. Now, as I told you, left and right chain, Ida and Pingala, represent the right sympathetic, parasympathetic, or otherwise, and also the right vagus or left vagus, left nostril, all that have association, but show that the connection is right at the bottom of Muladhara. Then Ida, Pingala, Sushmana, and all the chakras associated with Sushmana Nadi. Once that is experienced, then you know the beauty how you're going to rise from Muladhara Chakra to Swadhisthana Chakra to the higher and higher conscious one by one, and finally reach Swadhisthana at higher and higher level as we move on. Now the greatest poem which I understand is Astoma Satyamyam. Let me also make one thing very very clear. That phonetic sound of Muladhara is A alone. A, E, U, A, O, Ang, starts from A. The primal sound is A, it is Sa, Re, Gama, Pada, or Lam. It all starts from there. Once you understand that, you will be able to understand phonetic sound clearly, you will understand mantra very clearly, you will be able to understand how you are going to see pranayam, mantras to your own spiritual evolution step by step thereafter. The first thing, Asdoma, from that untruth, take me to truth, and that is what Kundalini gives it to you. Second thing is Tamsoma Jyotirgam, that lead me from darkness to light. That is what you see the light only after you wake up from Muladhara Chakra. The first is one stage, but that is what is going to give you light. That is what is going to give you truth. That is what is going to enlighten you. Then third thing is from death you give me the immortality so that I live and live and live, and that is what I am talking about is reincarnation. These are three pairs and which I understood that I understand A to Z of Muladhara completely, see the light in it, and then move on and increase the light step by step. And that is education, that is enlightenment, that is empowerment. You have seen it, you're going to see much more as I move on. And that is the knowledge which every student in the world should know. Only then there can be uniformity. Then comes to the Surya Namaskar is again something which I believe is very, very clear. It has to be the divine breathing, mantras and concentration. The entire package of exercise is very much clear there. Once somebody is able to do Surya Namaskara, you are literally making Muladhara Chakra very powerful. As a result, you'll be healthy, wealthy, wise and happy. All the important things can come from Muladhara itself. It has given all the foundations of A to Z for everyone to be perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy in Muladhara or Shailputri itself. So she has literally prepared her for the energy to move on to a higher level. She is the primordial energy. You can you can got Sa, you can got Lam, you can got all the mantra, everything from start there. You're going to see that how we move on step by step thereafter. And this is the sound also. You are sitting in a Muladhara Chakra, sit in that position. Your concentration only in Muladhara Chakra. Once in Muladhara Chakra, your legs right at the perfect, and also the balance with upper part and lower part becomes clear. You are literally in the center of the lower consciousness and higher consciousness only in Muladhara Chakra. And once that is understood, I think we are very clear how we are going to move on. If you look at my body, from head right up to Muladhara is the upper half, from Muladhara to soul is the second half, both are equal only. And once that is done, I think you are absolutely clear, and that is the position you sit, and then in that you meditate. I think you concentrate on Muladhara very strongly. Then come to the question of this. This will make your blood from soul come to the heart and to the head, and circulation will be much better. Heart gives blood from heart to the body, but the venous blood returned with this form is much better. If you do both the things, only then you can be a perfect with Muladhara Chakra or Shailputri or the first stage of concentration. These are all things to make you perfectly physically healthy, wealthy, wise, happy, you're breathing, everything will be fantastic. So first day is very clear to prepare you to go to the higher seven, and that is what Shailputri is. You know the solid element first, and only then the water, then the Agni, then the Vayu, then the Akash, and then higher forms of extra sensory perception you're going to see in all the 10 one by one as the Dasa Mahavidya. This is the first Vidya, and that's the first day of Durga Puja today. Let's enjoy. Now come to the pranayam is the balance of take the oxygen of 100% and expulsion of 61.80 carbon dioxide. Once that is understood, only then you can move on very well, and sitting in this position and concentrating, taking deep breath right up to Muladhara Chakra and then breathing out is the one of the best way to even have a sound music or vibration or mantra vidya by and large. And this is one exercise which has breathing exercise, absolute resistance, section breathing. You start with abdominal breathing exercise. You literally think and activate Muladhara Chakra first, then the chest, then the head, and then the higher consciousness. That is Om all about. That is the yogic breathing which makes you perfect, and this start should start right at the bottom itself. Then this is breathing perfectly left and right balance. I have already spoken. There is no need to complain. Then Bhastrika is one exercise which you sit and concentrate on lower abdominal much more. You really create an extra sensory perception which can activate Muladhara Chakra and make you sit very quietly and go to higher and higher levels of consciousness. And this is what the picture says. If you are able to do that, you activate Muladhara, you activate the lower thing, you purify the lower thing, and then you will be able to move to the higher stage as we move on. This is the first stage of concentration in Shailputri. So literally purifying the what element matter as completely. All the 10 main atoms and elements is important at this particular stage. You can hydrogen, you can call carbon, you can call nitrogen, you can call oxygen, you can call sodium, you can call potassium, you can call chloride, you can magnesium, and those are the 10 things which are absolutely essential. Start in Muladhara only. Once that is understood, we can go on to the next stage much better. Now everything, as I told you in the beginning, you can see Ida, Pingla, Sushmna, Chakras, and right at the bottom you can see Muladhara, that is Shailputri. We are going to see the next stage as we move on. I think it's enough for the day. Thank you very much.